What's he doing
The
it?
definitive verdict on Batman. We've heard the hype, but is it a good film? First, I think you do The Land Before Time, aren't you?
That's right. Before the Batmobile comes into the studio, a quick word on the Land Before Time, which, as you may recall from last week, is a 69-minute animated film about a little band of young dinosaurs who somehow managed to survive the extinction process that we're all familiar with by going in a little trek to the Great Valley. It's a paradise for dinosaurs, and their descendants live there happily ever after. A great surprise to professors, of course, but nonetheless, that's what's in the film, which little children will love. They seem to relate to these little dinosaurs. Adults, however, will not be so amused. That 69 hours will seem like 69 hours rather than 69 minutes. Unfortunately, a lot of themes are taken from the Disney cartoons without the great originality, and also the personalities are all voiced in American brat style. Not particularly pleasing. There's one girl in particular that you wish would be eaten by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Kids will love it. We'll say that adults will call Land Before Time a 6.
So it's a 6 before.
6 for that.
Right.
Now, what about the big one? Okay, the Batmobile roaring in, but look at what's in the boot. $200 million already. Yes, it is the fastest grossing film in history and will probably overtake E.T. before too long. We have 3 people to thank for that. Anton Furst, Bob Kane, and Jack Nicholson. Let's take Anton Furst first. He's the man who designed the set of Gotham City, and a fabulous set it is too, the most imaginative since Ridley Scott's vision in Blade Runner. But this doesn't have technological innovation. This one is absolutely depraved. This is New York City 10 years from now if everything continues to go wrong. So much stonework. It says, we've been here for centuries, you're just passing through. There's no light. The buildings, for business purposes, put so close together, almost no room for civilians. Claustrophobic and dark, and that's the vision in this film. This is no camp humor like the TV series. This is dark and brooding. Batman is a vigilante. Anton Furst, expect an Oscar nomination for your designs. Bob Kane, well, he's the man who invented Batman when he was a teenager. 50 years ago, Batman First came out in Detective Comics number 27. Well done, Bob. Nice to see you recognized in a cameo role as a newspaper cartoonist. Watch for him. Now, Jack Nicholson. Never in the history of cinema has a man stolen a film like this. This might as well be called The Joker, co-starring Batman. Jack Nicholson gives a great performance, not just in an amusing fashion, but actually as a study of evil, how a common hoodlum named Jack Napier can, through circumstances and motivation, become an arch-villain and want to do these dastardly things. He becomes a performance artist who tries to make beautiful things ugly. For example, Jerry Hall, considered one of the world's most beautiful women, has acid thrown on her face to become a hideous work of art. This is the work of Jack Nicholson. Now, Michael Keaton. Oh, yes, I haven't mentioned him yet. Well, that's because Batman is almost like a supporting character in his own film. Michael Keaton, very good as Bruce Wayne, perhaps a little bit wet for our tastes, but nonetheless believable. But as Batman, he's spending all his time squaring his jaw trying to look tough, and it doesn't really work out. He's not given enough to do, perhaps, in the sequels. In this particular scene, we see Batman rescuing Vicky Vale from the Joker.
Hold on. Get those wonderful toys.
And where does Jack Nicholson get those wonderful lines? And Batman hardly says anything. You just saw it in the film, all the themes we've talked about. Batman hardly says anything. The Joker has all the personality. We'll say that Batman, good. Not great. It rates an 8.
Gamba, you were saying that you thanked 3 people for it being such a successful film. Surely you should also, perhaps top of the list, should have been the person who handled all the marketing of the film.
Well, of course, it is true that there's an unprecedented amount of bat products out in the United States, including bat undergarments, which I won't be wearing myself. But, you know, the funny thing is...
Now.
Yeah, right. But the funny thing is, you see, it wouldn't have succeeded unless the people wanted it. There was a survey that showed there was near 100% recognition in the audience of the Batman character, and that means half of a publicist's work is done. And people want the film because Batman is the hero for our time, not like Superman, who's all-powerful, very good during World War II when we were up against the all-evil forces of the Nazis. But now the action is in the streets, as Nana knows, in New York City especially. People wish they could somehow make a change themselves, and Batman, without superpowers, nonetheless is doing that. He's the man who, spending a lot of time in the gym, with a lot of money and a lot of luck, is able to get the villains. And this is what people relate to.
Well, Nanny, you have your own thoughts on the film, don't you?
I boycotted it. I mean, I get really allergic to things when they get too hyped. And it's just like the whole Batman story was just like everywhere. Everyone was wearing, you know, the bat and that whole trip. And I was like, I just couldn't deal with it. I saw this guy wearing a Batman Sucks t-shirt on the street. I was like, yeah, I think I'll wait for it to come out on video. I mean,
The Batman film's actually aimed at children and adults over 12 years old, I believe, isn't it, Gambo?
Yes, that's
the
right.
original
A
TV
new classification.
The original TV series was perhaps aimed at younger audiences initially, although of course it appealed to everybody.
Oh, well, of course. There's a great deal of humor and wit in it. It's all good-natured. There's no horrible violence, though violence occurs. Indeed, all the kerplows that you saw on the screen let you know that the violence was for humor.
I'll tell you what, we're sentimental about old Batty here at TV AM. Why don't we have a look at old Batman? Good old Adam West. The original.
Gee, Batman, you really think there's something wrong with a crime computer?
Something's wrong, all right, but I don't know whether it's a crime computer or me.
But everything worked out swell. Wham! We got Pretty Boy, Machine Gun, Mad Dog. Zap! We got Legs and Ma Parker. It was the easiest job we ever did.
That's just it, Robin. It was too easy.
Well, here on TV AM, we still love the old star Batman, as Mike said, so don't forget, we've got a full episode of The Old Batman coming up on Summer Saturday, this Saturday morning, so join us then, won't you?